All right, the Ken Roczen deal, huge blow to the team, to the series. Kenny won, Anaheim won, and then I don't know what the hell's been going on. Props to the transparency in the press release saying he got COVID, and we saw him jet off to Europe to do a procedure there. I spoke to him on a text the other day. I think he's in Europe again, trying to figure out what's going on. That's a tough decision. What he was doing wasn't working for anybody, but that was a tough decision for Honda and everything else. Well, I guess take us through that decision and kind of where that came from, and when do you think will he be back for nationals? Do you think, or what's your outlook?
Yeah, I think that what was going on wasn't what any of us wanted, and he has put a lot of time, a lot of money, and effort into trying to get himself to where he needs to be, and it just hasn't really been the easiest time for him. For us, from basically December to now. I mean, he had a really good November, December until he got sick there. And, before that, he was really feeling like the old Ken from years past. And, and then that first sickness, which unbelievably wasn't COVID, it's just, apparently you can still get sick without COVID. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Yeah, but, I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but so that really wiped him out, and he was kind of tweaked from that, and he didn't, and we didn't think that the first Anaheim was going to go very well, and then he ends up winning, which was unbelievable, and I think that just kind of shows that Ken Roczen is an unbelievable rider, and he's got this talent that is undeniable, and that's why it's so hard to. Not to root for him because he can do some special things at any time. And, but that it really just, it took it all out of him, the sickness before that. And then he wasn't really able to recover from that. And I'm not sure if that's from injuries past and surgeries and all that stuff, but, it kind of started snowballing. And then he had a really bad Oakland, where he crashed, and luckily didn't get more injured there when Chase ran over his head. And then it just kind of, he wasn't able to get himself back to where he wanted to, which I think it's kind of a snowball effect with everything, with physical, and then that affects your mental, and then the bike feels crappy because of that. And, there's a lot of things there. So unfortunately, it wasn't getting any better, and he came to us and just wasn't really in the right mind space and the physical space to be able to keep going, and it just kind of kept seeming to run himself into the ground. So yeah, I think between him and us, we just decided that right now would be a good time for him to take this time to try to get anything that he thinks from his doctors that could help him recover quicker.
Yeah.
So that he could come back for the Nationals and really put a fight on for a championship there. I know that we definitely are hungry for a 450 championship, obviously, and he is too, and he wants to definitely give it to us. Before this is his last year on his deal, and who knows what's happening next year, whether he wants to race, and I believe he does. I know that he's definitely wants to, but he's got to figure out if that's something that he is able to do.
Yeah.
But for this coming season, I know that his goal is to win that outdoor championship, and if that's what it takes, is for him to take the break now, get whatever he needs to get done, and start prepping for the outdoors, then it would just seem like the best choice for all of us.
Yeah, that sucks, man. It's terrible, but like you said, it wasn't going anybody's way there. I couldn't believe what I was seeing from Ken Roczen, and not good for Honda, not good for him. And I think whether it's Jason Anderson a few years ago, or it's happened a few times non-publicly where they say a guy got hurt, but he didn't get hurt. Like, just resetting helps. You think, anyways, because it's week to week, man. It's hard to make gains, hard to get better, hard to do any of that when it's week to week traveling and all that. So, yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Bummer deal for you guys, though. Absolutely. One Lars Lindstrom on the show, brought to you by renthal.com for more information. Great website, everything else.
So earlier in the season when Kenny, I talked to him at the second round, and he just said he was having a tough time kind of figuring out the bike and everything like that. And it kind of struck me as weird because it's the second year on that model for him, and he was pretty good on it last year as well. But so what you're saying is that like all these other issues that he was having kind of carried over to him not gelling with the bike as well. And did you guys kind of, I guess, struggle with that with him?
Well, I mean, I think that, obviously this is the second year on this chassis, and, last year we had a lot of success, pretty quickly without a ton of development. Luckily, because it didn't seem like it needed it. There's always going to be weaknesses in any bike, and especially when it comes to Supercross, because, no bike is really developed for Supercross. It's developed for guys like you and me to go ride, or, just a broad spectrum of riders. So, but that one, this current bike, 21 and 22, seemed to be a little bit easier to set up, a little bit less sensitive to change compared to the old one. And so, we definitely tried to improve in areas that we were lacking in last year. And we definitely thought we had had the bike in that direction. And then, he won the first race, so we didn't seem like we had done, we seemed like we did our homework, correctly. But then, obviously you always want to improve, and no bike's perfect. So we kind of struggled with him to get him into a spot where just he's comfortable, and the way that he likes a bike set up is not really, perfect for a lot of other riders. So I think that the bike could have been better, but at the same time, for us, I think the struggle was, are we setting up the bike for a guy that's healthy and able to ride the bike like he needs to, or are we trying to kind of band-aid it for however he feels? And that's tough. I don't know if we made improvements or not, but even recently, like his qualifying at Dallas, I mean, he was second to Tomac by a tenth or something. It was like right there. Not even that. I think it was less than that. So he was able to do, pretty quick lap times on it, and even at Dallas, at Daytona. But, when it came to the actual race, it just didn't seem to work for him. So it was, it was tough to try to figure that out right now. And hopefully, coming back with, if he's rejuvenated and able to ride like he normally, like the Ken Roczen can, the Ken Roczen of old, then, maybe we'll be able to get the nail on the head a little bit easier.
We have that LCQ race coming up in Denver. Have you heard about this thing we're doing?